Now I invite Mr. Rajesh Lokhande, Global Production and Crop Strategist, Tomato Syngenta.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Richard, and thank you, Mr. Narayan. Yeah, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am very thankful to Chairman and Secretary, uh, specifically Dr. Tiku, that invited me for this great conference. And this is my first experience, so I'm really getting good insight from all the dignitaries, all the specialists, and all the kind of different functions and different institute people. So thanks for that. I have not prepared any presentation, first of all, because I was not sure to attend this conference. Supposed to travel for a meeting in Brazil, but somehow it cancelled, and then I thought that maybe it's good to make it. The subject what was given to me is most of the things are covered by earlier people, so I don't want to repeat it, or I don't want to really make it again, but maybe few of the things. Before that, I would like to introduce myself, because I am Rajesh Lokhande. I am now responsible for global crop production and crop strategies for tomato. I am working in Syngenta since last 23 years almost now. It's a big number of years, and work in various functions. So not only for this function, but also work in, started my career with production, then in marketing. I was almost for 6 years South Asia marketing manager for different crops, and then I turned to supply chain management, and I'm looking for end-to-end supply for tomatoes globally, and handling various seed production sites all over globe. So I have since last 10 years I am doing this job, so I have a great experience in knowing the globe, how the production is being conducted, what are the kind of things which is happening, how the scenarios are changing, how India is really developing in last many years. And I think looking to that kind of thing, it is a great pleasure to really talk on this subject, that how can, now everybody knows that India is a global hub, so there is nothing like we are saying that how it will become global hub. It is already a global hub. It's already a producing seeds for a lot of multinationals. Many companies are working here, but the most important thing is how it will be sustainable, because that is something we should talk more and more to make it more sustainable way of production. And if you see the global scenario, then there is a lot of seed production happening in all over globe, Americas, Europe, Israel, or Africa, and even in Asia. But if you see the difference between Western countries and Eastern countries, then they have a big farms, they have a big kind of a entrepreneur vendors, and they have a kind of a professional way of working, and most of the things are run by companies who are producing the seeds for many companies. But in Asia, you see the scenario is very different, because most of the growers or most of the farmers are involved. Small and marginal scale farmers are involved in seed production, and this is happening since last many 20-25 years. And earlier the companies were working directly with the growers, but now in last 10-15 years we see there is a lot of change which is happening in the way seeds are being produced. So now the vendors are coming in between growers, they are managing the growers, companies are working with vendors. So I think that kind of change in scenario is happening, which is actually a good change, we can say, because working with small grower is not a easy way to really operate. And of course, I am not saying that they are also important part of our system. And if you see, Syngenta played a very important role in uplifting their social and economic status in last many years. And unfortunately, I was also part of that journey. So we feel proud that we made this difference in Indian economic system in a small way, because these areas are not so big. But if you see, it has really made a difference to the grower's life. You can see that the growers changed their ways of living. They built houses, they bought tractors, they bought lands. So I think that there is a clear-cut revolutionary changes in the growers' economic background. And thanks to all seed companies who are contributing to the success of this upliftment of growers. But to see how can we really make difference in the seed production, I would say we have to really focus more on the challenges, current challenges. What are the challenges where we can make a difference in to maintain the seed production in a more sustainable way. And there is also a change we see specifically in the SSV kind of a seed production, that it has turned from open field into protected now. So most of the production we see in all over, the net houses are being there, some of the vendors are doing also in poly houses. So that is also a pleasant change which happened in the last 10-15 years. And this is really required, because we know that India has advantage of many things, like we have a ample amount of resources, varied climatic conditions, we have available manpower or the cheap labors, which is much more kind of a valuable in terms of sustaining the production compared to the other part of world, because other part of world is still struggling with the cost price. But I think here India has definitely an advantage. But I would say that how can we focus on challenges? So I just want to focus on 3 key challenges. One is, of course, the seed health, which is a key requirement for European and American market, because you know that in Asia it is still a kind of the regulation is not so strict in terms of seed health. But if you see Europe and America, they require strict seed health kind of a requirement, which may be requirement for TMV, TOBRFE or CMM or BFB, all those kind of seed-borne diseases, and the seed should be free from that. And I think for that, entire growers, vendors, and everybody need to really focus on hygiene protocols, on maintaining the seed production in such a way that there is no interference in the quality specifically. We know that many companies are working together, but the thing is, it is more important that how can we maintain that hygiene environment overall, because sometimes multinationals are doing good job, but the local companies are not doing good job, and the multinationals are getting affected because of the local companies. So I think there should be also a awareness in between all the companies that they have to apply all the good protocols to maintain the seed health. Second, I think everybody talk IP protection, which is a key area. And if you see the experience of China, I think many people talk about that there is a shift from China to India, and why this is happening. So these are the key areas where they could not be able to focus. And I think India has an opportunity to focus on that area, that how can we protect our genetics. And multinationals are very much key on that part, because they don't want to really suffer because of that. And if that happens, definitely a multinational will also go away from India. So you have to be very cautious and careful that how can we maintain that ethics in the seed production, and which is sometimes is missing. And I think we have to really be careful about that how can we maintain that compliance and ethics by all the vendors, by all the growers. And I think it is a job of our seed companies that they have to really make sure that if something is happening, please stop it. And that will definitely help India to keep the status of good seed production country. Otherwise, again, it will go on the way of other countries where the seed production is going up. So this is something, a message for everyone that please be assured that we make ethical seed production. And third most important thing, I think everybody talked also, seed transfer. Even Surya, he also talked about that. And it is getting difficult and difficult in importing basic seeds, in exporting commercial seeds. So I think in that area, if all the seed industry come together, all the institutes come together, all the government bodies understand that if India want to be sustainable in seed production, they have to really work on these seed transfer clauses. And what Surya mentioned, that it is not something a kind of a regulation, but it is the changing regulation every 1 or 2 year or 3 year. There is always something which is happening, and I think that is really creating a big problem for every seed company to operate. So I really request everyone to take this message, that how can we ease the transfer process, how can we make it more easier to apply phytos and to get the seed either imported or exported. So I'm not going to take much time, I am going to save the time. So this is something I wanted to give the broad message in this conference. Again, thank you everyone, and wishing all the best for other dignitaries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajesh, for this really personal insight into the industry. And, you know, sometimes speaking from the heart comes across with more impact than a PowerPoint. And I think the real takeaway is that when you focus short term, you lose long term. And so the industry is at this crossroads of this change in thought process, because everything that everyone's talked about requires a long-term focus to make the structural changes that are required for long-term success. So thank you again for that.